Okay, in this video we're going to be looking at rotations. You may have noticed I went back to a regular video instead of a screen capture, and that's because we're going to be rotating our page. So if you remember back on our first page of notes, we talked a little bit about a rotation. It is a rigid motion that pivots or swings an object around a fixed point. I tend to call it the center of rotation or the fixed point. So what we need is an angle and a direction. So we're going to go either clockwise or counterclockwise. And we're going to only do 90-degree turns. So we've got one 90-degree turn. Two 90-degree turns would be 180. That turns it upside down. And then three 90-degree turns would be 270. So to kind of show you how to do this, let's look at our first example. First, let's just kind of remind ourselves how we do an ordered pair. All right, let me switch my light to the other side. All right, so when we do an ordered pair, it's an X and a Y. Remember, the X tells us left or right, and the Y tells us up and down. So if we go ahead and get these coordinates, if I start at the center or the origin, to get to A, I have to go right 5 and then up 6. So point A has the coordinates 5, 6. To get to B, I go right 10 and up 6. So B is going to be 10, 6. To get to C, it looks like we go right 8 and up 1. And for D, it looks like we go right 3 and up 1. All right, so now we're going to do our rotation, and this is going to seem a little strange. We want to go 90 degrees counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is the opposite of the direction of the clock. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to actually rotate it 90 degrees, so one turn this way. So notice your title should be over here on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this as though this were my x-axis and this were my y-axis. Okay, so positive x is this way, negative x is this way. Positive y is going up, negative y is going down. You kind of have to ignore the numbers that are already there. So if I started at my origin, I would go left 6, and then I would go up 5. So I'm going to write that down. If I go left 6, that's a negative 6, and up 5 would be a positive 5. Notice I'm putting that as A prime. To get to B, I would go left 6 and up 10, so that will be negative 6, 10. To get to C, I would go left 1 and up 8, negative 1, 8. And D, I go left 1 up 3, so that will be negative 1, 3. All right, so what I've done is I've got the correct coordinates. So now I turn my paper back the way it's supposed to be, and I plot these points. If you need to rewrite them right side up, you can. So to get to A, I'm going to go left 6 and up 5. So here's my original graph. I'm going to go left 6 and up 5. Let me see if I can find that. And that's going to be right here. So that's going to be A prime. And then B is going to be left 6 up 10. Sorry, I have a hard time counting these little things here. And then C is going to be left 1 up 8. That's C prime. D prime is left 1 up 3. All right, so let's see. I don't have an actual straight edge. I'm going to use a business card. All right, so there's my straight lines. I'm going to draw that in. It's really hard to visualize rotations. We're not real good at rotating things. All right, but that would be a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. All right, so let's try the same thing with number 2. This time I'm not going to rewrite these. They're already there. It's the same one. We're going to go 180 degrees clockwise. Okay, so clockwise is the direction that the clock runs. So this is two 90-degree turns. So if I start to go clockwise, here's 90 degrees. That's turned on its side. 180 turns it completely upside down. All right, so I want to read these coordinates as though this were my x-axis, positive x is to the right, negative x is to the left. This is my y, positive y is going up, negative y is going left. So you kind of have to ignore the numbers that are there. All right, so to get my new a, to go from the origin, it looks like I have to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be a -5. And then I have to go down, so that's another negative, down 6. So everything's going to be negative because I'm going left and down every single time. So let's try b prime. I have to go left 10 and down 6. So left 10, down 6, -10, -6. All right, to get to c, I go left 8 and down 1. That'll be -8, -1. And to get to D, I go left 3, down 1, so -3, -1. All right, so once I've got my coordinates, I put this back right side up. And if you need to rewrite them, you can. If you're having trouble seeing that, you can go ahead and rewrite it in a way that you can see. If you're really good at reading upside down, then you can leave it. All right, and I'm going to plot those points. So for each one, I'm going to be going left and then down. So everything should land down here in this quadrant. So left 5, down 6 will be right here. That will be A prime. B will be left 10, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll be my new B prime. C will be left 8, down 1. That's C prime. And then left 3, down 1. That's D prime. Okay, so we should have the same shape, just turned upside down. All right. So much easier on the iPad because I can just make it do a straight line and it just does it all by itself. All right, and we can see that's basically an upside down version. And we're using, basically, I should have probably mentioned this, we're using our origin as our fixed point. So we're leaving that the same. So imagine pivoting and that being your fixed point, and if you turned it 2 turns, it would land over here.